All right, we are live. How's everyone doing? Turn the volume down just a little. Welcome to this little live stream that I kind of quickly planned out, but essentially, the title is kind of describing the whole thing. This is a 2010 Mac Mini from Apple, and it's a little sluggish. I mean, this is over 12 years old at this point. Mid 2010. It's got a 320 gig spinning hard drive in it, and that is very power consuming and so slow. Literally every computer that I have nowadays has an SSD as its boot volume. So we're making this the same thing. We have this nice PNY 240 gig SSD. We're going to throw it into this Mac Mini. We're going to clone all the data over, convert it to APFS. This is something that's running High Sierra 10.13. Mac OS from 2017, if I'm getting that correctly, maybe 2016. I'm not entirely sure. We're gonna get the APFS file system on this. Currently, the hard drive has HFS plus. I haven't had the chance to actually convert it, but we're gonna do that in this video, along with cloning all the data to the SSD and installing it. And this is the first time I'm opening this computer up and getting really dirty with it. And by that, I mean taking it apart with many Torx security screws. So, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting experience. But with me, I have an Ifixit Essentials Toolkit. So this is everything that I'm going to need. Not sponsored by them, although I do watch a lot of Hugh Jeffries. So, Ifixit, if you want to sponsor me, feel free. I'm definitely willing to. Basically, this thing has, the essentials. It cost me $25. It's got a Jimmy tool, spudger. It's got a bit holder, another more different looking spudger, tweezers, and then a ton of picks, and then a ton of guitar picks, suction cup, and then a ton of bits, which is what I was trying to say, for essentially all of the most basic things. So we got some Torx bits, and we got some Phillips heads, we got some flat heads, some hex key, some pentalobe screws. We got a ton of stuff, but we're not going to get to this just yet. Let's first transition to the software side of things. And I was going to try to make that a much better transition, but it was not really. So we have to make do with what we can do. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is the right way, if you guys are seeing this correctly. This could be totally backwards. And I'm looking on my phone, and you are seeing this correctly. On the computer I'm live streaming this from, thank you for that ring light, it is not showing the correct way. But as long as you guys see it correctly, that's honestly all that I care about. And you guys can. So let's get started. So we're on our macOS 10.13 desktop. And actually, I forgot to even mention what I use this computer for. I use it essentially for iMessage on Android. I don't use it for that much. Every once in a while, I'll throw a Jellyfin media server on here so that I can get hardware transcoded live TV from an HD home run. Although hardware transcoding is kind of finicky on this thing. I don't know if it's because of the old OS or whatever. But let's get our cloning software, and that would be Super Duper. Let's get this running. And I went with Super Duper over the basic disk utility because I've seen people have more luck with Super Duper over disk utility. Disk utility is kind of a mess, and especially in this older version of macOS, it's not that great. So unfortunately, I can try to bring it a little bit closer so that you can see. That's about the best I'm going to be able to do. So we have essentially from drive to drive. This we don't touch, and then basically I'm just going to allow this just so that it doesn't have any issues in the middle of it. And I just hit copy now. So before we do that, though, let's go back onto the table and let's unbox our SSD. So I did not think, and I didn't bring a knife with me. I should have one down here. Let me just take a look. One moment. I got one. I have a knife. I have it. Okay, it's time to, or what's the shorter blade? Otherwise, the person that owns this knife might be mad at me. That's not short. That is also not that short. I don't think this is even a blade. Nope. All right, long blade it is. If there's even a short blade on this. I could be totally wrong. Cut the seal. Should be all that we need to do. I do own another PNY SSD. It's in another old computer of mine. It's a 120 gig on that computer. This is a 240. And I got a 240 purely so that I wouldn't have any space issues. I'm going to turn the volume down just a little. I'm not actually listening to this, so hopefully you guys can hear this volume just okay. Got our SSD. So let's get it out of the packaging. Ooh, so shiny. So from what I know, this is actually a DRAM-less SSD. Don't quote me on it. The Amazon question and answer page was kind of mixed. But with how cheap this thing was, it was most likely DRAM-less. And a lot of you SSD enthusiasts are probably wondering, no, why are you getting one without DRAM cache? You're stupid. Frankly, like, I've gotten in total 4 different SSD models. I've gotten a dozen or so SSDs. One of those models has a DRAM cache on it. It's a WD Blue 500 gig. And I really can't notice that much of a difference. The way that I think it's host memory buffer is what it's called. The way that the operating system can manage that and just the flash kind of crappy cache modules on this, I really don't notice that much of a difference in terms of speed. I haven't experienced any problems. I had a DRAM-less drive as my boot drive on my very heavy-duty Windows desktop. And yeah, the wear and tear on that was a bit extensive, but this is also me we're talking about. I'm a very heavy power user. So this thing, on the other hand, I mean, it's not going to be having that much data being read and written to it. So let's get this thing in a USB 3 enclosure. This is from Ugreen. It's USB 3.1 over a micro B interface. I do have some Sabrent USB 3.0 interfaces that I was gonna intend to use, but I forgot to get one, and frankly, this was closer to me at the time, so I just ended up getting it. So this is now an external drive, which is what we want. So we're gonna go ahead and plug this into the computer, and I wonder, I'm not entirely sure if SuperDuper will partition it for me or if I have to partition it myself. Either or, I'm probably going to have to get into disk utility to give it some access. So let's get this thing plugged in. And plugged in. Light should turn on. Perfect. Let's take a look at the computer. In theory, just give me something saying disk is not readable by computer. That is okay. I'm not going to initialize it. I'm actually going to go into disk utility manually. And we're going to get this partitioned. Now, I'm going to partition it as HFS plus, which I could be totally doing it wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not, though. So macOS Extended Journaled. We're going to do Untitled. Actually, I'm going to call it Mac OS because I like that naming scheme over Macintosh HD because technically it's not in HD anymore. And if I can have something like as simple as this, that's just a user preference thing. Hopefully SuperDuper does not change that. We're going to erase the drive. We're going to throw HFS Plus on it. And mounting. Voila. Erase process is complete. Click done to continue. I just want to look at the details because I don't know how disk utility works that well. Disk one. Okay, cool. So this now has 312 megabytes on it. I just erased it. What are you talking about? All right. Let's quit disk utility. Let's get in SuperDuper again. I'm going to move the monitor a bit closer so that you guys can see. So you might have noticed the source drive is bigger than the target drive. That's okay, though, because I'm only using 25 gigs on the source drive. And we're going to clone it to a 240 gig drive there. In theory, I shouldn't have to do this. And you know what? I'm not going to bother because if I give it admin access, I don't know what it's going to do. And as much as I trust SuperDuper, I don't know if it's open source, but it has been highly rated by people. So I'm going to do it without password authentication. Backup all files, that's what we want. I shouldn't have to do anything in options, but basically, I'll just sum this up really quickly. It's going to clone the entire drive except for some files that are related to this specific configuration. So like the hard drive and stuff like that. Essentially, I think on the first boot with this SSD, it should regenerate all those files as soon as it boots up, just within the boot process to get used to this new SSD. So we're going to copy now. Ugh, password. So it needs password anyway. We'll give it password. We're about to erase macOS. Completely erase macOS. Copy the files to from Macintosh HD. Yes, that is what we want to do. This is a fresh, squeaky clean drive. And we're going to copy the files. We're preparing the drive. We are preparing the hard drive, erasing the SSD. That's taking a bit longer than I thought it would. There we go. And we're preparing the SSD now. Not sure what it's preparing, but okay. And we've prepared. So now we're going to copy files. So it is evaluating files and copying files at 3 megabytes a second. What? Wait, why is it so slow? This is USB 3.0 on the interface. It's a SATA 3 SSD. It's got to be the hard drive. This is why I'm upgrading to an SSD. The hard drives are so slow that you can't even really copy things to and from them. Okay, we're up to 4 megs now. So slightly better, but okay. So that's doing its thing. We're already 25,000 out of 450,000 all the way through. It's not too bad. We're about 135 megs copied. And just looking through this is the first time I've actually used SuperDuper, but I have seen people use it in the past. We're updating recovery on macOS, finalize macOS, update pre-binding on Mac. Okay, so that's basically meaning it's going to install a nice squeaky clean recovery, finalize the volume, make it bootable, which is exactly what we want. So while I do this, I'm going to do a really quick tour of the system because what else am I going to do with my time? So I'm going to back it up a little bit, and it's pretty squeaky clean. I don't know why I keep saying it. It's pretty clean. No bloat on here other than the essentials for me. So I have a nice VNC server on here so that I can do remote access since this computer is usually not within physical access for me regularly. It's actually on an offsite location. And because I have the remote access stuff, I have Pulseway on here so that I can get notifications on my phone and email for if this computer randomly goes offline. If you have a remote setup like this on any computer, Windows, Mac, or Linux, get something. If you don't get Pulseway, get something like it because you need something that'll tell you whether or not your computer is offline. Before I had Pulseway running on this thing, this computer could go off for 2 days, and it has done that. It's gone off for 2 days out of random something happened, not a power outage since it turns back on after that. But it was offline for 2 days, and it did not tell me at all. There was nothing on my phone that told me it was offline, nothing whatsoever. I totally forgot about it. I didn't actually go to check to see if it was online. It was just completely off. So you need to have something that'll tell you whether or not your computer is off or not. And having something like this, like the Mac Mini on an Ethernet LAN, I'm not just saying that it's good because of speed, but I'm saying it because you got to take advantage of Wake on LAN. If your computer randomly shuts down for whatever reason and does not turn back on, having Wake on LAN and just sending a magic packet to that computer, it has saved me so many trips to the offsite location, which is not that close to me. So having Wake on LAN turned on and accessible through the internet, just press a button, it sends a command to the computer while it's turned off. Computer turns all the way on, and then I can remote into it and get it fully set up to however I need it to be set up. That is such an essential thing for a remote computer. Having Wake on LAN turned on, it's what a difference it makes. It's amazing. And now transitioning back to the tour, we have Blue Bubbles. So Blue Bubbles is for the aforementioned iMessage on Android. And I have this set up. I'm not going to get too detailed into how I have it set up for security reasons, and I don't want people trying to get access to this server. I have it set up in a way that allows me to have some pretty good protection on this machine, no port forwarding. It's a pretty sweet way, one of the officially recommended ways of Blue Bubbles. And I also have Tailscale on here. And Tailscale is kind of a VPN app for internal servers. Essentially, I'm not describing it that well, but that's kind of what it is. So you can basically connect multiple devices within your Tailscale network. I think it's up to 20 on a free plan. Connect multiple devices to your Tailscale VPN network. And while it doesn't serve the same job as a VPN where it can encrypt your traffic, I think it actually can if you really want to. But it basically allows you to access certain devices and certain services on certain devices without port forwarding. So say you have a Raspberry Pi on your network, and this is something that I have. Say you have a Raspberry Pi on your network and you want to SSH into the Raspberry Pi. Well, but from outside of your network, typically you would have to do port forwarding, which with a service like SSH, which is easily breachable, that is one of the worst things that you can do with something like a Raspberry Pi, where you can't really put that much protection on something like SSH. So something like Tailscale, where you can get a specific IP with it and can remote into it with no port forwarding whatsoever. You can get into SSH, VNC, RDP, FTP, whatever you have, any sort of service, HTTP. If you're running a web server for an internal use, it's accessible on Tailscale. And that leads me into No Machine, which I use all the time with Tailscale. I can't do No Machine port forwarding. UPnP is just such a pain. I don't know if the IP is going to change or whatever. If I just use Tailscale, I have the regular No Machine IP, and I have a static IP within my Tailscale network. And that is so useful because I don't have to go into my VNC just to see my No Machine IP for better remote access. And then it makes it so much easier with Tailscale. Malwarebytes, kind of a no-brainer. Just good anti-malware service. I don't have the premium version. It's purely there just so that I can run a scan every once in a while. But as much as people say, no, you don't need virus protection on your Mac, it's a Mac. It don't get viruses. That's not true. It really isn't. Macs, like every other computer, have viruses. Sure, it's not as susceptible to viruses, but they still get it. And that is something that not everyone realizes. So having anti-malware on here, it's not going to do everything, but it does something if you run a scan every once in a while. Definitely have some form of anti-malware on here, whether it's through Clean My Mac, another very, very reputable piece of software, Malwarebytes, I don't know, Bitdefender. These are just the first things that come to mind. It'll make a big difference. And no, don't get the free Norton subscription with your cable provider. Believe me, I've used it before. It's terrible. Never use Norton. Never use McAfee. That's just, everyone should know that. Going to the last row, AirMessage, another sort of thing like Blue Bubbles. I actually used AirMessage for the longest time until probably about February of this year. I switched to Blue Bubbles because Blue Bubbles had seemingly a more stable overall use case. AirMessage was a bit problematic towards the end of my I guess using of it, and I still do use it every once in a while for the web GUI. Although recently I have been kind of transitioning to the Blue Bubbles one because it's nice having a unified interface across all your platforms, and Blue Bubbles does a great job with that. And so does AirMessage for that matter. AirMessage does a great job at making sure you have a consistent UI, but I don't know. I just like Blue Bubbles more, and the web GUI was a little interesting. It still is. There's something I don't like about it, and that's the same with the desktop app in the web GUI, where photos for your contacts, they just don't show up. That's just not how the contacts API work. Although I'm somewhat certain that they're going to fix that. I think they're doing something to change the API. I could be totally wrong. I'm pretty sure they said something, and one of the devs said something in the Blue Bubbles Discord server about changing the API to support it. Don't quote me on that. If you want to look on the Discord server, feel free to. But I'm pretty sure someone on there said that they might be changing it a little bit to work better. So that'd be great if it does. If not, so be it. Next up, we got My Symbol, I think is what it's called. And this pairs with Blue Bubbles. Essentially, My Symbol is, think of it if you're on Android, think of it as Magisk, like Magisk Root. So I have system integrity protection turned off, and it's kind of an idiotic move if you're using an operating system as old as this. It's an idiotic move if you're using it regularly with an operating system as new as Monterey, for crying out loud. System integrity protection is a pretty important thing, but here's my logic for it. I have Malwarebytes, which it doesn't run in the background, but it's fine. This computer isn't used for anything daily, and by that I mean it's not used to browse the web on a daily basis or look at YouTube or go on sketchy websites. It is purely used to send and receive iMessages. And that is why I justify turning off system integrity protection and loading it up with the Blue Bubbles helper bundle. Because frankly, there's not too much I need to worry about with this machine. It's not a primary machine. If it goes down, I don't really care all that much if I have to reinstall the whole operating system and like set everything up from scratch. As long as like I can get into my iCloud and sync that back up on here, that's all I care about. So that's essentially the main reasons why I have My Symbol and like on here and system integrity protection turned off. I just for my use case, it's fine. It's nothing I need to worry about. Super Duper is what I'm using right now. Actually, let's take a look and see how we're doing. We are 239,000 out of 449,000. 5.64 gigs copied. According to this progress bar, we're not that far, but it's not terrible. We're about 10 minutes in. I think it's okay. We'll keep going. Let's go back to Launchpad and then Jellyfin. Like I said earlier, I use Jellyfin to get into some live TV services every once in a while. So I use an HD home run connected to a Comcast cable TV subscription. I have a cable card in the HD home run. It's an HD home run Prime. I bought it used on eBay for pretty much. I'm too scared to tell you guys how much I paid for it. It was a price I'm not comfortable admitting right now. I've had it for over a year and a half, I think, at this point, but I'm still not ready to reveal the price that I paid for that. I paid way too much, and then I'm willing to admit. So yeah, we're not going to get too deep into that, but I still like the HD home run. Don't get me wrong. It's a great piece of hardware. I just think I paid way too much for it. As simple as that. But Jellyfin does work on here. It doesn't work the best. I don't know if the SSD upgrade is going to change it all that much. I'm hoping it does a little bit. Maybe the transcoding will be faster because it's not a spinning hard disk that's flashing around. I frankly don't know yet. So we're going to figure that out. I don't think this computer supports hardware transcoding. I've tried, I think, 3 different methods. I've tried no hardware transcoding, which works like as you would expect. It's just CPU transcoding. I've tried NVIDIA NVENC, which I thought, because this thing, technically speaking, it has a GeForce 320M in it from NVIDIA, I thought it would work maybe. I don't think it does. I swear to God, it doesn't do anything. So, I mean, oh, so useful there. And I tried Apple Video Toolbox, but Video Toolbox, I don't think works properly with this machine. Could be because of old age. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. But it just, I don't think it works at all with Jellyfin from what I could tell. But hopefully at some point I can figure something out. Those of you that read the rest of, actually, I'll just go through the specs. This is Mac Mini 2010, like I said, running High Sierra, the latest version, 10.13.6. Last updated, I don't know, actually. It says copyright 2020 Apple, so I assume the update was back in 2020, although I received this computer in 2021, and I upgraded to 10.13.6, like the day I got it. That was like March 2021. 2.4 gigahertz Core 2 Duo from Intel. I think there's a better version of the 2010 Mac Mini that's around in the world somewhere. I think it's got a 2.6 or 2.8 gigahertz Core 2 Quad. I don't know. Something about it that's like a few more than this one. Memory is 8 gigs of 1067 megahertz DDR3 RAM. So it actually originally came with 4 gigs of, I don't remember the speed. I don't know if it was 1067 or not, but it was 4 gigs dual channel DDR3 RAM. So 2 gig sticks. That worked fine, but I upgraded it to 8 gigs. So far, that has made a reasonable difference. There are still some things that take a while to load. Like the boot up time is still ridiculously long with this computer. I'm hoping an SSD dramatically improves it. If not, it's really not that big of a deal, but it's just a nice to have. The RAM, with it being bigger, I mean, this thing runs a lot more smoothly, and things can launch actually a lot quicker. Tiffany Monitor is not really a great example because that just loaded somewhat slowly. Memory use 3.17 gigs, and this is the thing that didn't really change after I upgraded the RAM. It was basically like using 3.18 gig constantly, even with 4 gigs. So I constantly had 0.7 gigs available on a regular basis. And like, look at this, like kernel task, MDS stores, none of these things are something that I technically control. And then actually one of these might have something to do with Super Duper, but that's not the point. And then I have Air Message, Blue Bubbles, iMessage, and then just like other stuff that's not taking up that much, so it doesn't really impact it. That's about it. And that thing would idle at around 2.8 if I'm lucky, and I'd really only have 700 megabytes on a regular basis. So upgrading to 8 gigs of RAM was kind of a necessity, and so far it's made a good difference. The SSD should hopefully propel it even further. So, I mean, that's about it from there. This monitor is just one of those classic old Dell square monitors. 1280 by 1024, 17.1 inch. Yeah, that sounds about right. Storage, I mean, it's not really anything that special. We got the Macintosh HD, which technically, if you're on a disk utility first aid on it, it looks perfectly fine. But, yeah, I don't know. I still kind of want to replace it just in case. I never trust old hard drives anymore, because if I have something that's new and it has a hard drive, I'll run with it for a while. Like, I have NASs that are running 2 spinning hard drives. Yes, they're in RAID 1, but that's not the point. For the most part, I stick with SSDs or flash storage as much as possible. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that has a hard drive as its boot up volume that I've like worked on in the past. Like every computer I think that I've worked on like physically and internally, I think has an SSD or flash storage in some scenario. So my desktop has an SSD. You know what definitely does not have an SSD? That used to, but just what didn't seem like it needed to anymore, was an old Toshiba laptop. It's even older than this and even older than a Dell laptop from like 2008 that I have. That Dell laptop has an SSD. But a Toshiba laptop, 2006 probably. So that thing has a spinning hard drive in it currently. I've worked on it. I've put numerous operating systems on it. That thing is currently using a 320 gig hard drive, if I'm not mistaken. So not the most ideal out of scenarios, but frankly, I wasn't going to get that much use out of an SSD in that machine. Super Duper is almost halfway down. That's pretty good. Going back to the SSD list computer, that thing is super old. Honestly, an SSD didn't really make that much of a difference. I only put an SSD in that computer because the computer I was originally going to put said SSD into just died in the middle of my upgrade process, and it died right before I even opened it up. It did not die while I was touching around with it. It died right before I even cracked it open. So yeah, that kind of sucked, and I couldn't put it in there. But I put a spinning hard drive in that Toshiba laptop, and then I put the SSD in a different version of that. Okay, so I didn't actually talk. So the computer that died that I was going to put the SSD into was another Toshiba laptop, much newer. It came with Windows 8. The one from 2006 was like Vista or something like that. The Windows 8 Toshiba died when I was right before I worked on it. And then I had another Windows 8 Toshiba, same model and everything, just a different computer. I ended up putting the SSD in that, I haven't heard about any issues. I think it's still working okay. I haven't gotten any calls about it dying randomly, but I think that computer is a BX500 from Crucial. So far, the past few SSDs that I've bought have actually been Crucial. So going back to my like 4 or 5 models that I talked about before, for the most part, I buy Kingston A400s, which are rated as pretty bad SSDs compared to regular ones. But I put A400s in a ton of machines, and they work perfectly fine. A great speed boost to a lot of computers. Like I have a pretty recent, and by that I mean like 2017 HP laptop that I actually just used like a few hours ago. And that thing has a Kingston A400 in it. It originally had a 2 terabyte spinning hard drive from Toshiba or WD. I don't remember. Whatever it had. It had a 2 terabyte spinning hard drive. That thing would take 5 minutes to boot up. 2017. It's got an i3 7100, 8 gigs of RAM, and it had a 2 terabyte hard drive. Obviously not the best machine, but it still took 5 minutes to boot up. SSD, like 5 seconds. Like Windows, the way that you can transform your Windows install when you put an SSD in a computer, it's unprecedented, the change. It's amazing to me still. So anyway, Kingston A400s are what I typically use. If I don't use it for a Windows machine, I use it. If I don't use it for a Windows machine boot volume, I use it as like an external drive for like putting games onto, which works really well. I actually have it on an Xbox 360, which I can actually point over there. That's a Kingston A400 right there, and that's an Xbox 360. In fact, this enclosure was for the Xbox 360. Small world, eh? No, I'm not Canadian, if anyone's wondering. But yeah, so I use A400s all over the place. I have an A400 on my Raspberry Pi server, which actually is not really getting that much use right now. But I do have an A400 connected, and that has all like my Docker image files and all that kind of stuff. Because I actually recently, wow, I totally forgot about this. I got to RMA this SD card. I had a micro SD card fail on me, and it basically went into a read-only mode, and the computer wouldn't boot anymore. So I had to clone all the data off of it to another SD card purely so that I could get the data off of it. And then I did a clean install of an operating system on the Raspberry Pi. I think I ended up putting just regular Raspberry Pi OS, the 64-bit version, because that just came out when I was doing all this. And 64-bit stable is what I'm talking about, not the beta. I would have put the beta on there, but the stable version just came out, so I did that. So I put the 64-bit OS on there. Works fine. I'm running it off of a USB 2 drive because like speed is not necessarily a priority for the boot drive for my Raspberry Pi. The SSD with all the Docker data is what really matters. And yeah, that's a 240 gig A400. That actually used to be the boot drive in my desktop. 240 gig A400. Then I upgraded that to a Crucial P5, 500 gig. I got a sale on it for Prime Day. This was July of this year, whenever Prime Day was. I think it was July, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, it was later. But yeah, that worked out pretty well. Yeah, so the P5 worked pretty well. That has a DRAM cache on it. So I'm still using the P5. Something I noticed after I got it is the temperatures on that thing can go so high. That thing got up to 70 Celsius on a regular basis. So I ended up buying a heatsink for it on Amazon, just some cheapo one that I found. Made a big difference. I didn't end up replacing or removing the heat spreader label, I guess, if it even was one. I think it was, but I didn't end up removing the label or anything for the better contact because I didn't want to void my warranty, and from what I could tell, it was fine. The thermal transfer is okay anyway. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. I'm still seeing a very dramatic change in temperature upwards of 20 Celsius. So regularly it's 30, 40 Celsius idle. It can get up to 60 still, but that's if I'm doing a very intense data transfer, or if I'm like running a virtual machine on top of my Windows environment and like playing a video game at the same time. Like if I'm doing all that stuff at the same time, it can get pretty hot still, but like to a much less extent. So this thing is still going, but anyway, back to the SSDs. So I have A400s and everything. Going on to the next brand that I ever bought. I was going to get a 120 gig A400, but I ended up getting a 128 gig Silicon Power SSD. Now, on Amazon, SP SSDs were not highly rated, and there are many reports of people's SSDs dying. The flash just failing on them, and the SSDs not working at all, and the data being lost. But when I said this back in June 2020, I remember the day I got it. Back in June 2020, when I got the SSD and I saw these claims, I'm like, okay, I'm putting this in a not so important machine. I'm not worried about reliability. I just want something that makes it a lot faster. And that SSD did make the computer a lot faster. In fact, behind the cat condo is the computer with the SSD. You can't even see it. But the Silicon Power SSD, 2 years later, not to jinx myself, but it works still. Yay! It's running. It's gone through so many repartitions and all that kind of stuff. Like, I've probably thrown in like 20 or so different Linux distros on that computer. It's been through a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely been through a lot. But that's not too big a deal. It still works really well. I haven't noticed any specific change in performance or anything like that. But thinking of what OSs I've put on it, I put Ubuntu 2004, Linux Mint 2020, upgraded to 2001 or 21, upgraded to 20.1. I'll say that. Then Windows 10, dual booted it with Linux Mint 20.1. After that, I wiped everything out and put Windows 10 Insider, upgraded to Windows 11 Insider. After that, I went back to, I think, stable Windows 10 for a short period of time. Then I put Linux Mint 20.3 or 20.2 on there. I never ended up upgrading, so I don't remember which one I did. I think it was 20.2. I don't think 20.3 came out at that time. At that point, I think I skipped doing anything else after that. I put Kubuntu 21.10. And then after that, I just put on the Ubuntu Studio installer and put some music production stuff. Because actually, I'm not going to move the camera or anything, but where I was pointing, there's a piano over there, a digital keyboard. So I wanted some MIDI software on there and Synthesia and Wine and all that kind of stuff, just so that I could get the piano to communicate with the computer pretty well. I actually do have a Synthesia license, which I do use regularly. And Synthesia is one of those things that actually works like almost natively because of Wine. Wine really made a big difference with that thing. Uh-oh. No, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. There we go. Wine actually works really well with Synthesia in the latest version. I apologize for that. That would be my dog that's like the floor above barking. So do apologize. But that probably means that my food is here, which I'm going to stay downstairs in my basement. But I'm going to also be eating food while I do this data transfer. So kind of hope I can do this soon. I don't know. I want this data to be copied so that I can stay down here, eat, maybe look at some stuff, and then open this thing up. I don't want to open this thing up and eat at the same time. That's a terrible decision because I don't want to eat dust that gets on my fingers after opening this thing up. I talked about the RAM. Oh, I didn't actually talk about the RAM upgrade all that much. Let me finish this SSD story though. So, Silicon Power 128 gig. After that, I go to what came first, the Crucial series, the Crucial Saga, or the PNY. I think it went PNY. The PNY 120 gig in another laptop that's from 2008. The Dell 2008. I put the PNY in there. That's a 120 gig. And then after that, I got a couple Crucial BX500s. Not by me. That was actually by my aunt. And I upgraded. That was the 2006 Toshiba laptop that had a BX500. If I didn't mention that before, one of those went into my aunt's daily driver laptop. That was a Dell from 2017. That had like an i7 7th gen. I think it was 16 gigs of RAM, and I put a 1 terabyte BX500 in there. Then I got another BX500 for that laptop that died on my hands, but then I put it in another computer that was my uncle's actually. And then, yeah, that in terms of SSD saga, it kind of brings us. Oh no, actually, I did those Crucial drives. I think in between those two BX500s, I put my P5 in my desktop. Pretty sure that's what it was. And then after that, all that, now we get to where we are today with the PNY going into this Mac Mini. Because I haven't done any upgrades after that since then. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We still have another 13,000 files copying. So, nothing special just yet. But we have 17 gigs copied out of, I don't remember, 21.42 evaluated. Let's see how much we have in the Macintosh HD. Does not say, are you serious? Come on. You can't just tell me that's stupid. Stupid Mac OS. This is why I don't daily drive a Mac. And I don't use an iPhone. Purely because the software is stupid. But I do have iMessage on Android, so you got to give me credit where it's due. I'm going to listen and make sure the audio is sounding okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually. That's not bad. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm okay with that. I'm going to do my best to make sure that it's not like totally crooked. Like looking at this, it looks not great. So I'll do my best to kind of fix it. But only so much I can do. I thought my food was going to get brought to me, but it didn't. Aw, that's sad. If someone that I know that maybe possibly has my food is watching, I would like it if it was brought down to me, please. But I don't think that's going to happen. That's okay. All right. So, we are still copying. We're at about 9.5 of a second now. That's pretty good. The hard drive is warmed up. We're now getting this thing. We're getting this beefy boy starting to transfer. So, that's pretty good. We still have 70,000 files left. Something like that. That's pretty good though. We're only half an hour or so into the transfer process and we're that far. That's actually like reasonably good. So I'm still deciding whether or not I should do a test boot from the external drive before I put it inside the machine. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to do. But whatever I ended up choosing to do, hopefully everything just works in the long term. I think what I'm going to do is I don't think I'm going to do a test boot. I think I'm just going to take the drive out and then put the new one in. Which I'm going to start now bracing myself for this because I have never opened an Apple product in my life. And from what I can tell, it's doable, but it's not going to be that easy. So, this is going to be really interesting. I've worked on computers. I've taken apart computers with pry tools and all that kind of stuff. I've gotten my hands dirty with computer stuff. I have done the worst approaches into taking apart computers, replacing the hard drives in them, putting SSDs in them. Believe me, I know what I'm in for. I'm hoping that this is not 10 times more difficult. So yeah, let's get this in copying. I just realized I forgot to get my macOS logic board removal tool. So I'm going to go ahead, turn off the mic really quickly, go grab that, maybe even go grab my food, and we'll see where we get from there. So I'll be right back. Just going to mute the mic. See you guys. All right, I'm back. I have food now. It has copied the data, and I made the decision to not do a test boot before I put the SSD into the computer. So I'm hoping that if something bad happens, I can fix it after the SSD is in, which I know what I'm doing for the most part if that actually happens. I know how to boot external drives on the computer. I know how to set things as like the boot volume. I am expecting certain things to happen and I know how to counter them. So if I have to boot into the hard drive externally, I know how to do that. If I have to boot into recovery and do something, I also know how to do that. So whatever happens should be okay. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and eat my food while this is still doing stuff, which isn't going to be that long, but I'm going to try to eat as quickly as I can. Excuse me. Muting the mic. It is completed. So it is completed. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to thank them later. I'm going to play some of my old videos just so that this stream isn't totally dead. No audio because I like to eat in silence. Thank you very much. But I'll play some videos. Thanks, people. Hi, I've returned. Food break is over. So, SSD is copied. Wonderful. I am now very high on sugar and probably carbs. Yeah, carbs is probably another good thing. Let's get this thing ejected and let's get this Mac open. I'm expecting this thing to take not too short of a time for me to get this thing fully replaced. So, unplug this SSD. Let's get this Mac taken apart. So, I'm going to put the SSD to the side, shut the computer down, and let's start taking apart. So, hopefully this is not the last time this computer stays alive. Otherwise, I'm in really big trouble. And by that, I mean a lot, because I don't have another Mac Mini, and this is kind of a critical computer. I'm sure it's on my main machine and it can go down for a few days, but if the computer dies, I'm screwed. If I have to boot it externally for a little while, I'm okay with that, actually. All right. Computer has been turned off. We're going to move the monitor back, unplug all the connections from the Mac, put the cables to the side, unplug power. Any second. Oh, the power cable's really jammed in there. And it just went to the floor. That's okay. So it's time to get this thing opened up. Just so that people know, I do have my Ifixit stickers that came with my Essentials Toolkit, my Mac Mini removal tool, and I just kind of brought the RAM kit, which I never actually talked about. But I didn't get any name brand RAM because I did not feel like paying those prices. And again, this is not that big of a deal in terms of like logistics with this computer. Like if a RAM stick just randomly dies, I would not like that to happen, but it would not terribly disrupt my workflow. So I'm okay if it just randomly gets limited to single channel 4 gig. It's not ideal, but I'm okay with it. So let's get the enclosure out, or get the SSD out of the enclosure. There we go. Let's pop this thing out. Boom. So SSD is out of the enclosure. I'm going to need to turn the mic on up just a little and move it farther back from me, just so that you guys can hear me from a greater range, and yet I don't have to be nearly as close. You're going to get a little bit more background noise, but honestly, that's just kind of a drawback. There's nothing I can do about that. Move that over there. And because I have all these Ifixit stickers, I do want to put them on this. I don't want to put them on the computer because it's too visible. So I'm going to put it on the SSD. Hopefully the SSD doesn't die because I put a sticker on it. But that'd be kind of absurd if an SSD couldn't have a sticker on it, given the fact that there's a sticker on it right now. So I'm putting the sticker on a sticker. Since I fixed it, it's kind of crooked, so whatever. If you get disturbed by those kind of things, especially if they're like internal like that, then screw it. And it being crooked is how you know this is no longer really an Apple product. This is a Chaney Goldstein product. All right. We're going to take this off. I haven't even pulled up the iFixit guide yet. I should probably do that. All right. What am I going to pull the guide up on? I'm going to pull it up on the Chromebook I'm using to live stream this. Yes, I'm live streaming on a Chromebook. Because why not? Oh, that was not a good sound. I think that was rubbing against. All right. We're going to do Ifixit hard drive replacement. I have it bookmarked because I knew something like this was going to happen. Okay. Bottom cover removed. Boom. I removed the bottom cover. I'm such a professional, eh? All right. Step 2, remove the bottom cover. All right. Step 3. Uh-oh. Step 3 is already. I have a Chick-fil-A drink and I just set it down on the table a little too hard and it splashed a little bit. So unfortunately, or fortunately, it did not touch the Mac. If it did, I'd be very upset, but it didn't, so I'm okay. Let's do step 2.5. Let's move this thing to be in the same orientation as the guide because I would like it to be as similar as possible so I don't screw this up terribly. And I'm also going to remove the keyboard and mouse from the table so I can have more room for my Ifixit toolkit. And for just everything. There we go. So I have places to put my bits. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to place the bits in this tray according to step on the Ifixit guide. Because these things have different lengths and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not willing to figure it out. Now, here's our first possible really bad bottleneck. I bought an Ifixit Essential Toolkit, and I bought that with a TR6-bit and a TR8-bit. So, this thing does not have TR6 bits right now. It has T6 bits. But from what I can tell online, the only difference between the two are TR6 bits or TR6 screws usually have security pins in them, and T6 screws do not. So, the bit has a little hole in it for a pin, but in theory, it should still work with a normal T6 screw. So, let's find that out. Let's take our TR6 bit, and we're going to remove these two screws, and hope that it fits. It does! Yay! Woo! Oh no. Alright, I'm definitely going to hook up a mouse to the Chromebook, because there's no way I'm going to be able to reach all the way to the trackpad. I got to do this, like, by a mouse all the way on this side of the table. I got the cable there. I think I got it. I'm plugging it into the hub now. Oh no, there's fire. Is that not? I have returned, my people. I don't know if this is working. It very well might not be working. I hope it is. I'm going to check. It's working. Whoa. All right, what happened? Well, the stream died, and the reason why, I plugged in a mouse. Not even joking, that is literally all that happened. My hub I have like everything connected to a USB hub, and I press the power button and it's powered by individual ports. Press the button, everything just totally restarted, and the stream would not reconnect. So that is one of the downsides of live streaming on a Chromebook. Excuse me. All right, let's get these two screws removed. So this does work. Just got to get these screws out of here. It doesn't specify whether or not they completely remove, but they look like they do, so I'm going to. All right, so these two are fan screws. I'm not labeling these, but like I said, if you just watched part 1, I'm putting these in this. I'm going like this in terms of a grid and moving them like that. And we're rotating the thing again. Okay. Lift the ear of the fan nearest to the RAM up, off, the standoff secured to the key. Secured to the outer case. So I have to remove it from the standoff. It's not really getting off. It's still kind of on there. Oh, the screw is supposed to just come off. Oh, this is a screw? I'm just going to remove it. I'm not going to, like, try to force it off or anything. Okay. All right, here we go. So I lifted the ear off, but it's still connected. Lift the fan out of the mini for enough clearance to access its connector. Okay. Carefully pull the fan cable upward to lift. I'm supposed to pull out or up? I can't tell. Genuinely cannot tell. Uh-oh. I think it's supposed to go up. And it did go up. Cool. All right. Good to know. I'm going to put that over there. All right, we got the fan out, and I'm starting to see my traces of dust. I see number, and I see serial number. No! I think it's fine. I see a number inside. I'm not going to zoom in, but that's a bit interesting. And with how kind of bad the quality of the stream is, I don't think you guys can see the serial number. But hey, prove me wrong. Okay. Now, step 6, we're doing cowling. Not sure if that is supposed to be cooling or not, but whatever. All right. Remove the single 3.5 millimeter T6 Torx screw securing the cowling to the heatsink. All right. That over there. Cool. I forgot to mention, I'm pretty good with step-by-step stuff. So in theory, this should go relatively well. Lift the cowling from the end nearest. Okay, I'll correct the grammar. Lift the cowling from the end nearest to the antenna plate. So that's this one. Rotate the cowling away from the outer case and remove it from the mini. All right. So I'm going to remove this. All right. It's getting a little trouble. Trying to remove the cowling. It's not coming out that easily. It's free to do. Oh, okay. Try not to damage all this stuff. All right. It's getting out a little. Still moving it out. I kind of want to use one of my picks to like get in the other side. Oh, here we go. Aha. Still. Oh, this. Oh, I don't want to swear. I don't want to get demonetized. I don't want to get demonetized twice. I'm already demonetized because I don't get ads, but I don't want to get demonetized for being mad at this computer. All right. Rotating. Hey. Look at that. It's like a shark fin. Okay. That's going to be such a pain to get back in there. I just realized. Okay. All right. Step 8. I'm going to have a little sip of a drink. Not sponsored by Chick-fil-A. Oh, you guys are going to hate me with how I drink my drinks. All right. Step 8. We're removing the antenna plate. So, these are all T8s. So I got to change my bit to a T8R or TR8. They're all T8s, not TR8, but that's fine. Technically speaking, for these two, I could use a hex, 2mm hex, but all I have is TR8, so I'm just going to use TR8. Actually, I might have 2mm hex now that I think of it. I might have it in something to do with my 3D printer, which is actually like 5 feet away from me max. But I don't care. I don't really care all that much. So I'm going to try to kind of position them in the... Oh, come on. Come on, you little thing. There we go. All right, this thing's starting to pop out a little bit. I guess that's a good thing. Come on. Come on. There we go. It's starting to come out a little bit, like getting caught in the screw or something like that. Go. Okay, cool. Nice. All right, so these screws are out. So technically speaking, this should be free. But I want to be careful. I think over here there's some antenna cables. Yep. So step 9, slightly lift the antenna plate from the end closest to the RAM. So this one, I'm going to kind of disobey it. It's a little difficult. Something on here that's like, I can't tell what it is, or if it's even caught on there at all. This could be totally placebo effect, but it's saying pull the antenna plate straight away from the circular rim of the outer cable. Oh, yeah, I just did that. All right, and do not remove it yet since it's attached to the adapter board. So I'm going to bring it over the RAM. I think it does. I think it's a different plate. Yeah, okay. So it wants me to take it about this far. Oh, there's so much dust. Oh, I'm going to have to get some compressed air. All right. Step 10, we're going to move it here so I can get access to this cable. I'm going to use a spudger. Serious when I told you I watched a lot of Hugh Jeffries. Use a spudger. We're going to carefully pry. This is their words. Carefully pry the antenna connector off the airport / Bluetooth board. I don't know how we're going to. I've removed these kind of connectors before. This is not how I did it. Oh, but that works. So in theory, is it just one cable to connect this whole thing? I'm kind of worried if oh, it is. Huh. So usually I see, it could just be because I'm a PC person, but usually I see 2 wires connected to a Wi-Fi card. This one's only 1. So I wonder if that has to do with maybe the 2 wires have to do with the 2 bands of wireless it's interacting with, because technically speaking, you can do, I guess 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi didn't exist when this machine came out. Because you can do Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on one band. Because Bluetooth runs on the 2.4 gigahertz band, same as Wi-Fi BGN. So I guess you could, technically speaking, run everything on one antenna wire. That's actually really interesting. I guess that's just because of how old this computer is. It didn't have Wi-Fi 5 yet, but interesting. Time to sip the drink. Hydrate, people. No, I'm not making a new Chick-fil-A drink. I'm drinking it, but yeah. Okay, we'll end it at there. So let's go on to step 11. And we already did that. We removed the antenna plate. Hard drive. Yes, we're on the step that I want to be on. Okay. This is one of those steps where it has multiple screws again. Oh my god, friggin' Apple. In their infinite wisdom, they gotta complicate everything. Okay. I can do this. I used a spudger. I have the power of Hugh Jeffries running through my veins. I think I can do this. Let's give it a shot. All right, so we're going to need to get 1 T8-bit. That's over here. After we do this, we should have 2 T6 bits that we have to take off. So let's do this guy first. Take our bit off and get back to T6. Hoping next up, if we have to do any more screws, they're also T6, so I don't have to go back to T8. But whatever. All right. This needs to come out. Oh. Oh, no. There we go. Oh, wow. This is long, boy. Whoa. This thing is so long. Look at that. Is it going to go in focus? No, it tried, but it can't. That is such a long screw. Whoa. Oh, freaking Apple. Come on. If these screws do get all messed up, I do have a set of calipers that I can use and that I've been dying to use because I've used it for one thing. I bought them with the intention of using them for a ton of 3D printer stuff. I've only used it for one thing, and I just realized, is this supposed to come off? I don't see anything. And I just realized something. But I don't think I have a screw there. Am I totally missing it? Or? No, I'm not missing it. I don't have a screw there. Let me just make sure they're pointing at a screw. I think they're pointing at a screw. I don't have a screw in this thing. Has someone been in here? Or is this is this the screw hole of something else? You know what? This must be the screw hole. Oh, I get it. I get it. So, let me go back to the YouTube window so I can make sure you're seeing this properly. I get it. So, this is a standoff that's also T6, and this is the cooling fan. It's a standoff. This here is the long screw that they were talking about that I can't find because that's where it goes. If I pried this, I wouldn't have. Then I don't have the screw, so that makes sense. So I still think I am the first one in here, but that makes way more sense. Okay, that's really cool, actually. Consolidate the screws, so that means that I really only have 2 screws. So okay. All right, step 13. A little nervous because it's more wires that need to be pried up. I'm not the kind of person that pries up wires. That's not what I do. I push in wires and pull out wires. I don't like pull up. That's not my thing. I don't know if that's. I know it's a common thing in phones, but nah. I'm a computer guy. I don't do phones. But all right. Okay. So carefully pull wires for both hard drive thermal sensors. This thing is a. I'm not even gonna question it. Carefully pull the wires for both hard drive thermal sensors upward to lift their connectors up and out of their respective sockets on the logic board. So right now, I'm seeing this connector. Expecting this up. It's not going up. Oh, did these connectors just come out? Oh no, this is not coming out. I kind of want to use my spudger, but I'm nervous I'm going to break it. Oh, I feel like this thing is fine. I think I'm just... Oh, okay. So this one and this one. I just feel like I'm going to break it. Oh, and I didn't. Oh, decent. Hold on. Give me a sec. Scusi. Move to the microphone. I'm back. All right. I think I know what I'm doing. I think I'm going to use a spudger just to pry this thing, just to pull the cable up. Then I'll pull by hand. Come on. There we go. Oh, this does not feel right. Pulling cables up like this. It's going to be a pain to check whether or not these cables are in correctly. I think when I start putting them back in. All right, now we actually need the spudger. It's in the manual now. Use the flat end of a spudger to pry both the hard drive and optical drive cables out of their sockets. So this is not one big cable, it's 2. These ones should just pry up. Open, yeah, all right, there's 1, and then 2. Spaghetti. Cool. So we have the hard drive, and I didn't actually look too closely, so I'm hoping that was right. Yeah, that looks right. Cool. All right. Oh, we get to use my Mac Mini Logic Board removal tool that I bought on Amazon for $5, and I'm not gonna be like happy about that. I could have. It's not only on Amazon for $5; it's also on Ifixit, and I'm glad I didn't buy it on. And as much as I like the guys at Ifixit, they do some good stuff, but I'm not paying $5 for a piece of metal and an extra like $3 or $4 for shipping. I'm not paying $7 for a tiny piece of metal. No, wait. Like that's like 8 and 9. That's what I meant. I'm not paying upwards of $9 for a piece of metal. That's absolutely ridiculous. So I bought on Amazon. I got free shipping because I'm technically a Prime customer, so I guess I'm paying Amazon a ton of money, but like whatever. I get way more with Amazon rather than a one-time shipping fee with iFixit. So as much as I hate Amazon, much rather prefer them in this scenario. So for enough clearance to remove the hard drive, the logic board must be slightly removed. To accomplish this, 2-cylinder rods must be inserted. That's this. Inserting other instruments other than the ones highlighted in red. Okay, these are the ones highlighted in red on the picture. Insert a Mac Mini logic board removal tool into the 2 holes highlighted in red. By the way, I don't think this is actually metal. If it is, it's like kind of an insulated metal, I think. It doesn't feel metally on the outside. It feels like some sort of, I don't know if it's rubber insulation, silicone, or whatever. Mac Mini logic board removal tool into the 2 holes. Be sure it makes contact with the outer case below the logic board. How am I able to tell? Can I like feel on the bottom? Whatever. I think it is. If you don't have it, yeah, I do though. Carefully pull toward the I/O board. The logic board and I/O board assembly should slightly slide out of the outer case. Cease prying when I/O board is visibly separated from the outer case. Remove Mac Mini logic board removal tool. Okay, so let me look at how far it should be. It's not that far, so. All right, it's starting to come out a little bit. This is a part that I'm a little worried about. I've seen a couple methods for it. This is not one of them. I've just seen pictures. Oh, damn it. It's in. Oh, it's out. Oh, I feel like it's rubbing against something. I'm stopping from there. I'm stopping there. I think it says it can come out a little bit more, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I'll do like this side a little bit more just to. Oh, that's not okay. I think it's fine, and it's just the dust that I'm hearing kind of scrunching, but I don't trust it from here. Okay. This is good. All right. Simultaneously slightly away. Oh, I see what it is. There's a little cable here that must have something to do with. Oh, maybe it's not. No, it's like foam insulating tape. That's what it is. Okay, I'm not as worried about it now. Maximum of 5 millimeters. I think I get to use my calipers to. Figure out. Doing more than 5 millimeters can damage the IR sensor. So, okay. I'm trying to like make sure I don't knock over a million things. All right. Calipers. I'm gonna use these. 447. All right. Hold on, let me just. Look, this is saying 357. All right. Well, it's under 5, so I'm okay with that. And oh my god, I have to do another stupid one of these cables and pull the I/O board slightly. Oh my god, I don't want to do another one of these cables. I'm scared of this machine. I genuinely hate Apple with a passion. This is ridiculous. All right. Let's get my spudger so I can pry this cable up a little bit. Oh. Try not to like pry on the cables. Go, 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 go. Go. Hey, nice. Oh, that scares me. I hate doing this. Oh my god. You know, doing this is making me wonder whether or not I should put a dual drive in here, because there's no way I'm opening this thing back up anytime soon. I have a dual drive like enclosure like on premises. Like I can do one. I'm just deciding whether or not I should. I just don't think I'd get enough use out of it. So I'm going to hold off. But this better be okay. I better not have a single problem with this whatsoever. All right. Should be able to remove this whole thing. All right. Why did I even remove this? It's like, oh, this is like, wait, what cable is this? Is this the infrared cable? Oh no, I didn't have to remove this. Oh. Damn it. All right, well, this is practice putting the cables back in. Do I just like... does it just end as soon as it's done? It just ends as soon as the hard drive is out. Okay, so I have to figure this out on my own. Now I could probably get a video. All right. Well, I get why they were worried about damaging it. This is definitely kind of tough and short. And I'm inclined to just leave it be until the hard drive is in. And you know what? I'm going to do just that. All right. Let's take a look at this hard drive, which, ooh, sorry for clipping the audio, but that is dusty. Ew. Yep. Looks about right. Seagate 320 gig with an Apple branded logo. And back when Apple shipped hard drives and put their logos on them, even though they didn't actually make them. All right. So we got to remove a strip of tape covering the hard drive connector. Hopefully it's not as difficult as the frickin' everything else. All right, come on. There we go. All right. Just want to remove it so that I can get this hard drive connector off, which... oh, there are multiple? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, I guess this is a better approach than I've seen when it comes to keeping connectors in place after shipping. Like, my 3D printer, for example, uses friggin' hot glue. Like, that's... I have a Creality Ender 3v2, and I had to replace some stock connectors. I mean, that thing technically used hot glue to keep things in place. Again, sorry. If you watched part 1, you'd know that my dog is very loud, so I apologize for that. All right. Let's get these tapes off. Ugh. I guess, like I said, I'd rather do the tapes like this than hot glue a bunch of connectors, but, like, come on. Like, if you make the tapes impossible to remove, that's just ridiculous. Give me, like, a pull tab or something. Like, why can't they do something like what the MacBook Pros did, where the hard drives had, like, a little piece of tape that you could use to pull out the hard drive and not necessarily do the connectors? Okay. I removed the tape. Do I remove the connector? I removed the connector. All right, the connector has been removed. Do I immediately put it on the SSD? That's the question. Then I go here. Mine is on the other side. Oh, no. Never mind. Get the thermistor that's over here. All right, come on. All right, I have to remove the tape, which, uh-oh, is there multiple? Oh, this is probably the tape for the cable. And then the thermistor, I gotta carefully peel off. Okay, that actually was not that bad. I saw that piece of tape, don't worry. All right, please don't fall off, I'm not in the mood. All right, now put the thermistor with I don't think it's actually a thermistor. Well, maybe it is. I don't actually know. Okay. We're looking at it from here. These are T8 screws. All right, so we got to replace our bit again. So far, I've not encountered a TR8 bit. I mean, TR8 screw. And the guide recommends getting a TR8 driver and T6 driver. But, like, so far, I've been able to do this all with T8s. Or so far, I've only witnessed T8s is what I should say. So, not sure if you need to get a TR8 yet. Don't quote me on it. Maybe later. I'm not gonna put these hard drive screws in the tray because these are hard drive screws. There's only 2 of them, and I know where they go, and I'm about to take them again, so I'm okay with just kind of leaving them be. All right, and if it's anything like other hard drive, is it tape? Are you serious? Oh my god, it's tape. Oh my god, I hate this thing so much. All right. I think the guide says to do it from the other side, but whatever. I don't even care anymore. All right. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Is that it? That's the conclusion. Conclusion. All right. Okay, that's how I did it. I'm gonna take the SSD, and while I still have it fresh in my memory, we're gonna do everything backwards. Whoa, I hate this so much. I'm going to freak out. All right, now we at least got to the point where the SSD is now in. I have to do this all over again. It's too low. Yeah, okay, that's good. That should work. All right. All right. PNY. Time to go backwards. All right, now we got to do Torx screws. And some of you might be wondering, if you're a PC user and have never worked on a laptop, yeah, this has way. While I'm thinking of it, this has way more similarities to a laptop than a desktop. I feel like I should probably just point that out. Those of you that don't work on laptops and regularly and instead work on desktops are probably wondering, why are you just putting screws in the middle of it? Well, the answer is honestly design, because it's mostly to keep the drive spaced apart properly from the rest of the system. So I get what they're doing, but they also could invent just a better mechanism as to keep the drive somewhere good. All right, now time to put the thermistor back in. That baby goes here. And then this basically just goes here. And that's this piece of tape. Pretty sure. Oh my god. I don't even know if there are screws that go in this thing. I just realized. On this side, the screws might not be used at all. Okay, this tape is like not really... The adhesion's kind of dead. I'm doing my best to reapply it, but it's not that successful. Just did this. Go back here. Gotta do the hard drive connector. Excuse me, SSD connector now. Gotta get the tapes on here. Now I'm okay with this kind of tape. Like, if the tape is on like the hard drive connector, like your system's not gonna boot if it falls off. But the way that they kind of do it is kind of stupid. And then this was okay. This is the piece that went over the thermistor. And sorry if I'm calling it a thermistor and it's not actually a thermistor. I'm do a lot of 3D printer stuff now, and I know that the temperature monitor for that is called a thermistor, so I assume that all electronic temperature readers are have thermistors now, like stuff like that. So that's just all right. Okay. This tape for the temperature monitor is really worrying me. Like, I just don't know if it's going to work. So we're going to put it in the computer and hope that everything is okay, but I would not be shocked if it isn't. And this is not really budging right now. Go. This is the optical drive, the super drive cable, and it's not really going forward, and I'm okay with that, but it does kind of need to work with me. Oh no, that just doesn't move. Okay. At this point, I mean, the no turning back point was a while ago, but it's really being apparent now. Shoot. Okay. I gotta wrap this around again. I could probably like put new adhesive on these tapes, but I don't really want to do that right now. I see. Oh, okay. I'm looking at something differently. Now, I'm just wondering why this cable is so much farther forward than this one when I frankly did nothing all that different. Maybe something to do with the disc not being as thick. If I move this closer, does it make a difference? It does, but I don't want to do that just yet. So, oh, hold on. I gotta pull this out. I forgot to look at something. So on step 17, if you're looking back, it says reinstalling the hard drive. Be sure the two T8 Torx lugs on the far end are inserted to the two rubber grommets highlighted right in the second picture. That would possibly explain it. So I know what it's talking about. It's talking about the screws on the other side. I don't really know the best way for aiming is because you can't really. It's a little bit of a problem, but nothing I probably can't solve. This is really difficult. Just not ideal. Oh. I'm gonna try going like this at an angle. Maybe because it's not thick, it's difficult to get it in those. Oh, I think I just did it. Oh, I think it's in. No, the key. Oh. All right, I think it's in. It feels like it's in. I gotta use a spudger to push down this tape thing because it's a little too far on. Come on. Okay. All right. We're in. Yay. I'm not too excited yet, but it's at least in, and the two connectors here are around the same length. So now I gotta get this IR sensor cable in. Now that I remember that it even exists. Oh, I don't want to get too close yet. And all right, I know where that is. I know where this is. I don't remember what that is. All right, hopefully we're okay. That, you know what? That might actually be the fan cable. I think we're okay. Yeah, these are the two temperatures. This is that. So then this must be the fan cable. Okay. So all right, I know what I don't know what I'm doing. Oh god. Okay. Oh. Going. Is it in? Oh, I think it's in. Oh, sweet. All right, that was actually way less painful than I thought it would be. Cool. All right, nice. Now we're pushing it in. Yep, pushing it in. All right, we're in. Sweet. So this thing is pushed in as much as it should be. I'm not really worried about the other stuff now. The only thing I'm a little worried about is a fan connector because it's going to kind of interfere with the temperature monitor of the hard drive, I think. There are two temperature monitors. It's going to mess up one of them, I think. And that's the one that you actually have to peel off. That's the one I'm a little worried about. But if I have to make adjustments, it shouldn't be too bad. But we're at a really good spot now. So now we got to push in. Let me make sure I'm getting this pointed the right way. Now we got to push in the hard drive connector and optical drive connector. And I'm a little worried. I don't know how resilient these connectors are to damage, but actually, you know what? They go in pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Those are pretty snug. Cool. All right, so those are in. Step 13, temperature wires. So the hard drive, the one by the hard drive cable should be pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of lining it up and getting it in, which that's a bit of a pain. But I will say, after you do it, it's very painless. All right, now I just got to do the same thing on the other one. It's all the way over here. Now, hit my head on the tripod. Sorry if I'm like kind of covering it a little bit with my head. I apologize. I'm not actually looking at the stream right now because I'm using a Chromebook. And let me look at it really quickly. Oh my god, we've been doing part 2 for 41 minutes, and we haven't even booted this thing up. So I want to get this thing. I guess I'm gonna need to get. See, this is the thing I hate about Macs. You gotta get them really assembled before you can do a test boot, because everything that you connect is really important. And now, oh, hold on. Oh, okay. I was doing it wrong. Hold on. Just need to focus really quickly. Okay. Like I was saying, everything on a Mac, you gotta assemble it a reasonable amount before you can do a test boot, because everything that you put in is so important. And like, I could probably run it without the fan. Well, maybe not the fan, but I could probably run it without the airport card. But I'm worried to do it because who knows, that could like F up booting and mess up like my I don't know. It could mess up my network configuration. That's what I was going to say. So okay, so I'm just looking at the Ifixit diagram. So this is the one that we don't need to do. This is the short one, and then this is the long one. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Cool. So are we on T6? We're on T8. Actually, if we're on T8, actually no, because if we're going in reverse, we want to do T6 first and then go back to T8. Because I have some T8 stuff in the previous steps. Oh, all right, T6. I'm gonna get here. All right, cool. I think we're finally back to getting screws like in the machine now. I don't think we've actually done any of this yet. All right, and now we got to put T8. Man, this Ifixit kit is awesome. Very happy that I bought it, and I'm very happy with this. Although, if you're a Prime subscriber and you don't need to get it refurbished, which actually I was gonna get it refurbished, but I decided not to purely because I'm a Prime subscriber. Okay, this is not going in all the way, and I can't remember if it did go in all the way back when I took it apart. You know what I can do is I can take my calipers out again and measure whether or not, and where did the calipers go? Oh shoot, did I lose my calipers? Oh, calipers! Where did you go? Genuinely do not know, and I just had them not too long ago. Oh, where did they go? I can't find them. Oh, here they are. Cool. All right, so let's measure. All right, I'm gonna measure this first. It's blinking. Does that mean the battery's low? It's like 3.2 something. All right, yeah, I guess it's fine. I could be measuring totally wrong. But from what I can tell, it looks like it's not supposed to go in all the way. I just don't remember. And even if I looked back through the footage, I probably wouldn't be able to. Yeah, but it's at least screwing in, and it's not coming out necessarily. So I think it's fine. Kind of want to put another Ifixit sticker there. I'm gonna do that. I'll put a little sticker right there. There we go. Hey, I gotta make this computer my own, and I want the exterior to be pretty cool, but interior can be whatever the hell I want. All right, antenna plate. Okay, cool. So here it is. We can't put it all the way in because we got to put this thing back in right over there. I'm not even like using the guide all that much because I mean going through it. Yeah, it shouldn't be that bad. So I used a spudger to pry it up. I shouldn't need a spudger to push it down, but I might use it just so that I can better guide it into place. But we'll see. Getting close. Ugh. Right around there. Nope. I gotta be careful because this thing it has like little divots. If you're watching this on Chay Chay Tech Time, I'll see if I can find a diagram. If I push down too much, it can like collapse one of them, and then the cable just won't go in, and then Wi-Fi is dead, and that's kind of sucky. Yes, like I said earlier, I do use this on Ethernet on a regular basis, but right now, this upgrading experience, I'm currently at my house and not on the offsite location, so I cannot easily run off of Ethernet. All right. Oh, come on. All right, I'm going to try to squeeze it. Hey, I got it. Nice. All right. Let's get it back into place. Oi. All right. Sweet. All right. Nice. All right. Cool. All right. Can I squeeze it in a little? It's not sitting perfectly flush. Something on this side is not letting it. All right. I can't tell what, though. Something on this side. It's not letting it push in all the way. I can't really tell why. This side is going in no problem. This is the one that I would think would have the most problems, but stand corrected. All right, I'm going to pull it out a little just so I can see. I just realized I wasn't doing that much dusting, actually. All right, that's good enough. It's fine. All right. So let's see if I can work on it a little bit more. All right. I want to be careful because I don't want to F up these RAM modules. I just put these in like the other day. This smells a little syrupy. All right. Oh, you know what? Ha, I just realized what it was. It has to be careful, balanced alignment because this thing rotates easily. All right, come on. One of them keeps going in okay, but the other one isn't. It flip-flopped for a split second, and now we're back to square one. I can't tell what it is. It's just something is preventing it from going in all the way. And I know what's preventing it from going in, but I don't know how to fix it. I have an idea. I'm going to use a spudger. Maybe try to pry it up a spot. I don't want to ruin my spudger, and I already kind of am. Like, it's not that big a deal, except I just want to make sure that the top cover will go all the way back in, and I don't think it will, because the top cover is pretty specific. Oh, this is pretty difficult. Try taking it out and just reseating it all the way. All right. So take it out. Start from scratch. Take it out. Put this cable in. Go like this. All right. Make sure. And we have neither one going in. That's even worse. Go. Oh my god. It just does not want to go in. Oh, wait. Haha! I did it! Oh, sweet! All right, nice. All right, that took a lot of reseating, but I got it in. Perfect. All right, step 9. No, we're at step 8. No way. All right, we're on our T8 bit. Want to get the really flat-headed screws over here. All right, I'm really hoping this does not pop out. If it does, I'm going to be super mad. All right, come on. Come on. All right, good. Now for these. These ones are the ones that I'm a little more worried about because these ones can totally screw it. All right, this one's not going in all the way. Let's see about this one. These ones also kind of have one of those spacer things, so they might not be supposed to. I don't remember. This one seems like it's like crooked. I guess it isn't. All right. They don't look like it goes. Wait, no, it's supposed to go all the way, isn't it? Let me see if I can actually shut this. Oh, wait, actually, I think I can. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, they're supposed to be like that. And if they're not, it doesn't impact closing it up, so I'm okay with it. All right, cowling. So we got to get this thing back in. It shouldn't be too bad, but I don't think it's going to be easy either. So we have to get this thing. Is it supposed to be this under here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, actually, that was pretty straightforward, actually. Okay. Oh, what did I just open? Oh, I opened an Ifixit picture. All right, cool. And screws. All right. This goes in here. We're back to T6. We're so close. All right. Now that at least I've done it, I'm less worried about breaking it if I had to do it again, because now I know kind of like what I'm in for. Oh, I did it wrong. I put the wrong screw in the wrong place. Something I'm a little worried for is the big screw that I had to unscrew that had like the standoff. But I'm about to do that because we're now at the fan. So let me rotate it so that I have it in the same sort of spot. All right. This just needs to go in here. All right. Cool. All right. Let's use a spudger, the end of a spudger, which is probably not ideal, but I used it to kind of get one of the connectors in. It worked. And now I think we can just put the fan in and use T6 to get this in. It's going in. It's going in. All right. Now to 11.3 millimeter T6 screws, and then come on. Is that it? That might be it. I think that's it. Okay, make sure I don't knock everything off of here. Make sure I didn't ruin everything for you guys. All right. One more. And I did it. I have installed an SSD in a 2010 Mac Mini. But before we do the completion portion of this video where I say thank you for watching and joining in this 2-part live stream, we got to do a test boot. And I'm scared as hell for this part. Because if this does not work, that would mean that something has gone wrong and I have to fix it eventually. You didn't think I was done with that, did you? All right, I just realized something. If I unplug the mouse that I for this, that's now on my Chromebook, this is going to turn into a 3-parter. I don't want that to happen as much as you guys would love it, and I guarantee that I know for a fact that you would love to have to leave this stream and go back in. I'm not doing that to you guys. So I have to go scour for another mouse, which I know where that is. Just give me a sec. I'm not going to do anything with the enclosure yet. I just want to get this thing hooked up. And all right, let's get this thing hooked up. We need a mouse hooked up to this. So give me a sec while I go get one. I have one on the other side of this room. I think I get it. And this mouse retrieval should not crash the stream. Un moment. Oh, wait, no, that's Spanish. I can get canceled for that. I found another mouse, but we're going to use wireless mouse because we are special. All right, mate, off you go. Inserting into the USB ports. Sweet. All right. Let's get power hooked up to this thing. And theoretically, we should get this into boot. Should hear a little click. All right, I saw the light in the room flicker, which is a good indicator that there's power going to this machine, which means it's not all dead. I think it's time to get this thing, now that I'm done with the Ifixit guide on the stream. All right, been a while since you've seen this, eh? All right, place your bets now. Sorry for the glare over here. It's because I have a ring light that's pointing to light it up a bit. Place your bets. Is it going to boot? Are we going to get blinking question mark of doom? Or, yeah, I guess, or, all right, people, listen up. I'm going to test this one more time. I've turned. Okay. So, I think we're back up and running. PSA to anyone who uses YouTube to live stream. Quick note. Never, and I mean never, and I'm going to go into proximity effect really quickly. Never in your life should you use YouTube Studio's built-in webcam live stream feature. It is what's causing this to be a three-parter. And I don't like that. So essentially what happened is my microphone, which is USB, I know it's not my choice, it accidentally unplugged. And YouTube Studio's webcam live stream feature gives you no option whatsoever to change your microphone or webcam. Whatever you start with is what you're stuck with. And it didn't resolve to even like the built-in microphone of the computer I'm using. I would have been fine with that. Like, if it really just meant to keep it from being a three-parter, like, I would have been fine with that. But no, YouTube has to be stinky. Okay, resuming this where we were, we're about to boot this. So let's place our bets. Are we going to get, and I mentioned this in part 2, but are we going to get a full, perfectly normal boot, blinking question mark of doom, or nothing at all, and the computer's going to beep? If the computer beeps, we're in really big trouble. Blinking question mark of doom, a little bit, but not nearly as much. Full boot, no trouble, and I'll be so happy. What am I expecting? I'm expecting question mark of doom because of something that I'm not going to say unless it actually happens. So let's do it. 3, 2, 1. White light. Disk No monitor. No monitor. No monitor. No monitor. Monitor. Gray screen. Not turning white. Blinking question mark. I think it's blinking question mark. I don't think it's going to post. Or boot up is what I should say. Maybe it is white. I don't know. Maybe it's just taking a really long time and figuring itself out. I think we're going to get question mark. At least we're getting it. Oh, wait. Whoa. Oh. It just rebooted. Okay. We at least got it to post. And it started to boot. So that, I think, means is that it's detecting. That was a pretty fast loading bar too, which is making me think that maybe everything is fine. Because if it was the hard disk, even if it was just doing a quick refresh, like, I feel like it would still take forever to do it. That's, I think, a good sign though. Computer, oh, kernel panicked. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not good. Uh-oh. Hopefully that's just because it's like a new hard disk. Uh-oh. Oh, oh no! We're in a boot loop, aren't we? Oh no, that must mean we're in a boot loop. All right, I just stopped. That was me that just got it to this. Okay. It's showing up. No recovery partition, regardless of Super Duper saying it was updating recovery. What recovery was it updating? Okay. What I'm gonna do is I don't remember what the key was to set it as the boot volume. There we go. Control. Computer restarted. That's fine. Let's get it to boot. If it does it again, we're not good. We're not good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna boot it in verbose mode. I'm gonna get it back to the boot picker. Booting in verbose mode. I think it's Command V. I'm just gonna do a quick Google, but I purely want to get it in verbose mode. Hold on. I want to get in verbose mode just so that I can see what's going on. Because if there's something that's preventing it from booting, like with the kernel panic, I would like to see what's going on. Command V. Okay. So Command V. All right. We're going to hold. We're going to quickly do a quick recording. Mac OS kernel. Something at the kernel is preventing it from booting. It's like loading the kernel, but then stopping. So let's get the old hard drive in the enclosure and boot from that externally. Which I'm a little worried to do, purely because if something goes wrong, this computer will be out of commission until I get one of my Time Machine backups from an offsite location, because I did not do a Time Machine backup with a local drive. I have one, but it's not on site. So if I have to get one of those backups, it's going to take a couple days, and that's not an option. So let's boot this drive up. In theory, it should say 2 things. Perfect. Okay. So let's just get in recovery first, actually. Let's get in macOS recovery. And if I can get in recovery, what I want to see is if I can run like first aid. Because I think maybe if I can set up first aid, something will fix itself. So let's have this thing boot up. Hopefully it's okay. While that's booting up, we're going to get that hopefully further than it was before. The fact that it hasn't done it yet means it might be okay. Hoping it is. For only reboots, that's not good. But I'm booting in recovery just because I don't want it to affect the main operating system. Right now, the main operating system is the critical part of this whole thing. If I lose that on the stock hard drive, this has gone very south. But I'm going to do a quick Google. Cloning macOS hard drive to SSD kernel panic. Maybe I have to clear the NVRAM? It wouldn't make too much sense, but like maybe, I don't know. Reset NVRAM SSD is what this guy is saying. I can use disk utility to repair the startup disk, which, you know what? I'll try to do that. There was no recovery partition on the SSD too, so if I have to do something over again, like, I'm fine with doing it. Why was there no recovery? The Super Duper said there was going to be one, or it was definitely implying it when it said like updating recovery. Like, was it saying like it was updating the boot picker to realize that like this was the new boot volume? I'm just not entirely sure. But as long as I can get the hard drive to boot externally, which I'm 99% sure I can do, as long as I can do that and at least get an idea of what's going on, I should be in pretty good shape. Because frankly, this is the only Mac that I have access to. So if I have to like get access to like another Mac, that's going to be kind of difficult. Like, I have a couple options, but none of which I can easily access right now. It's kind of stuck. I don't think that's a good thing. I can't tell if it's moving. Oh no, it's moving. All right, we might be okay. How long have we been doing this? How many hours have I been doing this? I think I started this at 4:15. It's 6:41. 2 hours and 2.5 hours. It's better than I thought, but it's still kind of annoying. All right, come on. I'm kind of sick and tired of this thing booting. I kind of want it to just go. This is super annoying. Not even my fault that the thing stopped. Did not want to boot. Oh, black screen. I think okay. That we got further than we did on the SSD. Fast. Okay. Mouse is working. Okay. Let's go in disk utility and see if we can repair the boot up volume, maybe. Not entirely sure. Is Wi-Fi working? Wi-Fi is working. Okay, well that means that the airport card is working. All right, internal macOS extended journaled. I can't convert it to APFS, which is not a good thing because that was something I was going to plan on doing. I just want to see if there's like any specific fixed boot up volume or something. Doesn't look like it. So let's do first aid. Run first aid, check for errors. just see what's going on. If I can rename the disk to Macintosh HD, maybe something on the system is referring to that, and maybe that's ruining it. I'm not entirely sure. But something I might do is grab one of my bigger hard drives and just really quickly image the here, let's just see. All right, so this did absolutely nothing. Great. I might image Macintosh HD just so that I can get a clean, like the operating system on another drive just in case. Let's convert. Is this creating an image? I don't know. All right, come on. Okay, so not what I had in mind. Is this like if I was... No, it's converting an image. I would like to create an image if possible. Oh, here we go. New image, blank image, image from Mac OS. No, I want to do an image from Macintosh HD if I'm going to do any. What could I do? I could do an image, but I'd prefer not to. So this is saying the disk is fine, but at the same time, there's not really... It's not really helping me in terms of figuring out if something is okay or not. And it's clearly not saying if it's okay. Come on. All right. Let's... Startup disk is the Mac OS, so I know that's okay. This, I don't think there's anything I can do with. Startup security, I don't want. Network, I don't want. What could I do? I'm wondering what I can do because I just don't know at this point. So if I do this, if I do restore, oh, I can just do it from here. Erase and replace the volume of data on the volume selected below. Yeah, I guess. Kind of want to boot it one more time just to see what happens. I'm going to do that. I'm going to boot it one more time from the SSD just so that I can see what happens. And I'm going to remove the hard drive just to prevent that from happening. Okay. So we're going to remove the hard drive. Should disappear. Oh, I didn't know there was a poof animation. All right. We're going to boot up. Oh, I didn't. Oh, damn it. I forgot to do Command V. All right. We're going to really quickly go into the boot picker just so that I can get a slow motion video. Do this. Command V. I got to do Command V. Enter. All right. Here we go. And that's doing it. Okay. Booting into boot picker, holding it. Option. Okay. Just looking at the video. Oh, so it just kernel panics at the end. Airport, legacy shim. Firepost. Kex on proceeding. WO lock for unknown. Couldn't block sleep during cache update. Okay, so I think... So right now I'm looking at something that's saying there are some time server issues. Thread 8 crash. Okay, and then it's panicking after that. And then it ends at where it says the kernel and stuff like that because a kernel panicked. Okay. So I think I have an idea of what is going on. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't show you guys any of that. So what do I do? Do I do it from disk utility or do I do it from super duper? I'm not entirely sure. I'm just curious to see, what do people recommend? Do they recommend doing it from disk utility? Okay. I think I'm going to do it with disk utility. So clearly something on this volume is messed up, preventing it from booting up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the hard drive booted up so I can boot into macOS recovery. And I think from there, we're going to go ahead and just get this thing booted up to recovery so that I can then restore or clone the drive, the hard drive to the SSD again, this time through disk utility. So this is going to take a while, I assume. There we go. Loading up. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and do this through disk utility over Super Duper. Nothing against Super Duper. I've seen it work. But frankly, it's just not working in this scenario. So if I have to use disk utility, wipe the whole drive and do that, then simple as that. But let's get this thing to boot up. Hopefully, by the time I do, it should work. But only so much I can hope for. But I just really want to get this thing to boot up again. Even if I have to get this thing, if I have to get this thing to boot on externally for a little while, I'm not opening this thing back up tonight, I don't think. If I can avoid it, then I'm not doing it. Worst comes to worse. If I have to do that, I'd say by 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern, if I can't get this thing to boot up with the SSD, I'm going to go get one of my hard drives and I'm going to create an image. I don't know if it's an ISO, an IMG, a DMG for all I know. I'm not sure how this utility does it, but I'm going to create an image of the hard drive, put it on one of my other external drives, and then just boot externally. I could be overdoing it. I might not need to image it. I might be doing something that's just completely not necessary. But I just want to be safe that if I boot the hard drive externally, it does not mess anything up on the hard drive. I just want to be really safe and cautious about that. Because if it does, I don't know, something really bad could happen. I'm not familiar with Apple stuff. and I'm not familiar with macOS, the Darwin kernel whatsoever. So I just want to be really safe about this, because if I do something wrong, I could be out of a computer for a while, honestly. Because if this hard drive just dies on me and I can't get into, and if I can't get in recovery, then I'm really screwed. But if I can't get in recovery, I'm really screwed. But if I can get a workable system, then I will be really, really happy. If something here, there's a Chromebook, but I just want to at least get this thing to boot up for the night, stay on, and then at some point tomorrow, probably 3:30, 4 o'clock, around the same time as today, I'll work on it again. I don't know. It's going to be tough to figure out. We're now in dark mode, so that should mean that the Mac is fully booting into recovery, which looks pretty sweet. We're booted. All right, macOS utilities. I'm going to go straight into disk utility and start this restoration. Loading disks. All right. OS X based system, that's not what we want. We want to do macOS, and we want to restore to it. And we're going to restore from Macintosh HD. Failed. Okay, that's what I expected. Okay, that's actually fine. So I expected that to happen because technically speaking, the SSD is smaller than the hard drive. So that means we're gonna have to boot from Macintosh HD. Okay. It's not letting me. All right. That's fine. It's annoying, but I get it. So from here, from here, I'm going to need to convert. No, I'm not going to convert it. I do want to just look at this really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my hard drives and get this thing imaged so that I can boot it up free, like without any worry. To be honest, I think from here I'm going to have to leave you guys on a cliffhanger. Because as much as I could keep you guys on the ride and like wondering what is going to happen, I honestly do not know at this point. So I think I'm going to have to leave you guys hanging. I just want to get this thing mounted just to be safe. Just mount really quickly. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just not entirely sure yet. So let's get this drive cloned into an image, and I'll let you guys sit around for a little bit of that, but probably as soon as we get that started, I'm going to have to stop because I do want to get kind of full focus on this because this is just kind of something I don't want to make any mistakes in, if you guys understand. So I'm going to go get a big enough hard drive. I just formatted a few of them yesterday, so I'm going to go get a good 750 gig, and I'll be right back. So stick around for a few more minutes. I've returned. So I don't remember which one of my 750 gig drives is formatted. I'm going to go with the one that's already plugged into the cable here. It might not have any partitions on it. So if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to format it as, but you going to get it? Lit up for a second, then went dark. There we go. Cyber Media. On initialize. Okay. Yeah. Sabrent. Yeah, fine. All right. Sabrent. macOS extended journaled. Just put it as untitled. Not really caring all that much. Just really quickly throw a partition on here. And cool. So I'm going to do a new image from Macintosh HD. We're going to go into Untitled. Format. Read only. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Encrypted. No need. Yeah, just put it in Untitled. All right, save. So we're going to create an image from Macintosh image thing. This is going to do, I think, saying reading whole disk. Okay. This is going to take a while. So I think I'm going to have to cut it here. Thank you to everyone that's watching live. Thank you to everyone that's watching on demand, because I'm going to compile all 3 of these parts into a Chay Chay Tech Time episode, because I would like to start doing some video content on there, but I've been lacking motivation to do so. So I'm hoping that this kind of inspires me to. This is going to take such a long time. So let's hope that this goes well. And all right, I gotta rest. I've been kind of down here the whole day. So, all right, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully see you guys with good news next time. Thanks for watching.